Welcome back, everyone. We're talking about something fun today. We're always talking about fun stuff, but there's something new that's basically been taking the internet by storm. I feel like since February, it picked up in March, April, cooled off a little bit for a couple months, and came back strong over the summer. And that is NFTs. We've got an OG sneakerhead with us, Franalations. How you doing, man?
Very good, man. Thanks for having me on the show.
Absolutely. You have went deep into the NFT space. I would still say I'm an amateur, but I'm dabbling. I'm trying to learn. I'm trying to figure out what's going on. But we both are sneakerheads, and I want to kind of start there about your history in sneakers and streetwear. Give people some background on you.
Yeah, so I've been collecting sneakers since the early 2000s, and in fact, in the late 2000, 2008, I started. At the time, I was one of the first people, if not one of the only people, uploading sneaker content to YouTube. I did first monthly episodes and then weekly episodes and then 7 episodes a day. And so, that was, a fun, moment in time. I was always trying to have the earliest kicks first to show them to people. We would always get these teaser pics of these like fuzzy, grainy photos of sneakers. And so this was a way to kind of, someone voice their opinions about a sneaker and kind of show all the angles of it. And so I was really early to that. And I think I've always been kind of early to stuff. And so when I found NFTs, it was a no-brainer for me to jump in early on that as well.
So how many sneakers do you have in your collection now, or how many did you have at your prime?
At the peak, it was definitely over 1,000. It's still hundreds. It takes time to sell them all off, and that's really what it comes down to, is the amount of time it takes to unload them. But I'll always have, even when I sell off more, I'll always have this core amount of puppy SBs and maybe a couple Jordans, and just kind of keep it going from there.
How do you go from having 1,000 sneakers and consolidating that collection to buying, as the internet would like to troll, JPEGs for thousands of dollars? Like, how did you make that jump? Like, I know how I made that jump, but I'm curious how you got there.
So first I heard about NFTs is right when I got into crypto in 2017. And at that point I was like, it's a scam. People are trying to take crypto, and I'm not falling for that. Like, no way, right? So fast forward to around the end of last year, I started hearing people talking about Top Shot. I'm not personally the biggest sports guy, so I didn't really gravitate to that. I thought the idea was cool and stuff like this. But beginning of this year, the same person who kind of inspired me to do YouTube videos about sneakers, which was Sneak Geeks, he was posting these Batman digital collectibles. And this was through the Savy app. And so I might not know sports, but I definitely know Powerpuff Girls and Batman, right? This is stuff that I can vibe with. So once I saw these licensed digital collectibles, that was my first entry. And so the first NFT I bought was in early March. I got a Jim Lee statue of the Joker, and it was like $80, and then it sold out, and then it was going for about $400 at that time. And so this is when I realized, okay, there's something going on here. And DV was my kind of gateway into NFTs. And a month later, I was purchasing on OpenSeas, and 3 days later, I was creating and uploading on OpenSeas as well.
Oh man, you moved fast. So let's break that down a little bit, because I think a lot of people feel the same way that you did 4 years ago at this point, that it's a scam. Like, what convinced you that owning something on the internet that you can't touch or hold, like sneakers are physical goods that we can wear, we can appreciate, we can smell if you want to smell them. But what made you want to be, I'm going to spend $80 on this thing that, as some people again will say on Twitter and the internet, I'll just download the JPEG. I don't need to pay for this. Like, how do you explain getting over that mental gap to people who are new to this or skeptical?
I'm 33, and for the past 15 or 16 years, I've avidly been playing World of Warcraft.
Yeah.
And this is a digital game with digital assets and even digital currency. And there's real world value for all of that stuff. And there has been. And some of the older mounts and armor sets go for thousands and thousands of dollars now. So unlike, a physical sneaker where over time, if you don't wear it, the sole can crumble, or, you might spill something on it and it'll get stained. With a digital asset, it doesn't age, it doesn't change, it stays in pristine condition. And when it's out of print years later, it becomes harder and harder to find. And I've learned that through, jumping into basically digital worlds for half of my life.
Yeah. And I think a lot of that, the challenge for people is the idea of owning something you can't hold. But, I got into NFTs because of NBA Top Shot. Love basketball, love trading cards. Bought them as a kid, kind of started buying some late last year because we were all cooped up at home. And I was like, fuck, what can I do with my time? Let's go back to trading cards, right? It had a little bit of a boom. We saw stuff selling for hundreds of thousands of dollars, et cetera. It was Zion's rookie year, Jaws rookie year. I was like, this is a good year to buy some packs and rip them, right? But, again, for anyone watching, like this is your typical card. This is literally paper printed. We have no idea about circulation most of the time. This thing can rot, break apart. It's already in shit condition. This is my favorite player, Peja Stojakovic, for anyone listening. NBA Top Shot made me understand that, like, I value this because it has been officially deemed as part of the NBA. This is a collectible. And that's what helped me get over the hurdle with NBA Top Shot and NFTs is, if this is official, this is licensed, this is the same thing. And in trading cards, like, man, it's much easier to buy, sell, trade a digital good than it is this trading card that has to go in the mail and take weeks to, finalize.
And in some cases you have to worry, is it counterfeit? Is it authentic?
Absolutely.
And this is something that's easily verifiable on the blockchain. You can tell when the original series was created, who minted it, how many are in circulation, all the stats that, nerdy collectors like myself love to research and find out. It's all right there, and it's all just a click away, and it's all just ingrained onto the file that you're collecting. And yeah, I think it changes everything.
Yeah, I agree. And it's that authenticity is key for artists, for anything that's kind of being built on that, and the ease of use. And again, like, transparency. I think that's one thing that as a sneaker collector, I wish I had more of, that I understood, like, this thing that I own in my possession, is there hundreds of thousands of these? Is there tens of thousands of these? Is there 400 of these? Now, obviously, sometimes we have that insight when the brands throw on numbers and stitching, but even then we know they're producing a little bit more that's running up the count. Everything is visible on an NFT. And that's what I appreciate, because there's no room for someone to say, hey, there's only 100 of these, but secretly I'm making 100,000 and no one's going to know, right? It's all visible there on the blockchain, but we're not going to get too nerdy on it. I want to talk about the idea of collectors' mindset in sneakers and NFTs. I feel like they're the same people. It's just a different good, whether that's a sneaker, a bottle of whiskey, obviously a physical trading card, and an NFT. It's the same mindset and activity. Do you agree?
Definitely the same mindset. And even for some reason, the same, like, kind of keeping in some way. There's certain terms that people will use in certain things. Like, example with sneakers, there might be people that might not like Jordan mids compared to the Jordan highs or whatever like this. And there might be people who are, hating on one NFT project because they're like, oh, I was early to apes and like apes are the best or whatever. And so there's this weird, like, within subcultures, kind of like defining the best version of that subculture, which is kind of weird. Yeah, there's always a lot of similarities and stuff. Yeah.
And it's interesting you bring that up because, like, that leads to community. Obviously, sneakers, I mean, us, SoleSavy, as a community business, and we believe community is just the future of the internet, period. Forget just sneakers. But community has been very important to sneaker culture for the longest of times. And I think that's what's happening in the NFT space right now is people are, the projects are great. They might look good, but they're also looking at, is the community behind this quality? Do I want to be a part of this? Because they're looking for a way to, be a part of something on the internet. Because I don't think social media has done a good job of helping us, build friendships or feel like we have a digital identity that we could be proud of. And if that means an ape is who you connect with, or a cat, or a lazy lion, whatever it might. I think it's just it's a cool way for people to come together, and community and NFTs is a really big deal.
Yeah, community aspect is huge and everything like this. But another big factor is people are seeing these gains, people are seeing these record sales on NFTs, and even right now as crypto, which is kind of the whole platform that this stuff is on, as crypto is kind of going down, the sales are still picking up. So kind of its own ecosystem that's definitely thriving, like, because of community, and there's a lot of other stuff going on too. And it's a fun space. It's definitely a fun space.
Yeah, and that's what I've enjoyed about it. Like, I don't know what kind of, actually, let's start there. What kind of NFT collector are you? Are you the type of guy who buys a couple and wants to hold on to them all? Are you looking to make a profit off the art, or that balance of all of that?
As a collector, I've definitely let go of things too early, whether it be sneakers or even Pokemon cards. You were already talking about how last year the whole trading card thing started booming. Just before that, I had sold Sean Waterspoon, the owner of Round 2, my original sealed booster box for $4,000. This was the retail price at that time. And like 6 months later, it was $30,000. 8 months later, it was $100,000. And so these prices really just started exploding out of nowhere, where for 20 years, that value steadily rose. And then 8 months later, it was completely different. So I've always sold collectibles a bit too early. So I kind of did see in case, okay, let's kind of wait it out a little bit longer than usual. Also, in my opinion, digital tends to outdo physical almost in every aspect, whether it's Blockbuster to Netflix or Walmart to Amazon and so on. There's always more value because of that ease of use, that ease of access. And so I definitely, have the mindset of trying to hold stuff a bit longer. With that said, a week in NFTs is almost like a year. And so you might hold something for a month and it could 10x, and, might be a good time to start pulling out some.
Yeah, it's a crazy time. And this is going to be my opportunity to say that none of this podcast is investment advice in any capacity. Collect and buy what you like. That's kind of where I'm at. I've purchased some things that strategically I'm like, this is a really interesting project. I want to see what happens with this. Like there's an arcade NFT. I don't know if you've heard of that. You can literally play an arcade game in the NFT, get a high score. If your high score gets in the top 10, there's rewards in Ethereum and stuff like that. Like, I think that's just a cool way to do it. And then there's some stuff I just buy. Like I bought Portland Trailblazers posters from the season that I was a ticket holder. I'm like, this is just a cool way to hold the poster. I know they're never going to do it again. They did editions 11. I think it cost me, like $110, which, by the way, in Ethereum standards, $110 is like pennies in the real world. It's just, I think that's the worst thing that crypto's done to me is I look at a $300 sneaker and I go, oh, it's like 0.1.
Yeah.
It's fine.
Seems so much cheaper in Ethereum pricing for sure. And, it is funny to make that comparison and stuff like this. There's always memes and stuff of people pricing out whatever it is, the iPhone or whatever it is in Ethereum prices.
No, it's
definitely funny.
So again, I should caveat, like my transition to NFTs was through NBA Top Shot, and I got into NBA Top Shot really early. Obviously my collection is appreciated. I was just buying stuff because I thought it was really cool. And then next thing I know, I was like, oh, holy shit, this Nikola Jokic playoff moment is worth something. And I've translated that into a collection of mine that I value. And again, as a Blazers fan, I have every single Blazers player and moment that's on Top Shot. Like that's the type of collector I am. Translated that to NFTs, and obviously, like, again, not investment advice. I think that's what people are most curious about right now is like, can I just buy any NFT and am I just gonna be rich tomorrow?
Yeah. So, what I would definitely say is, NFTs are definitely very risky and most projects will fail.
Yeah.
But the mindset I try to have when I go into it is I want to at least buy something I like. That way, if it goes to zero, I will still enjoy looking at it. Or if it's something I'd want to hang up on my wall, I feel like that's probably a good indicator that it's something I would enjoy. And so far, that's definitely paid off. Now, the other thing too is, some projects hasn't paid off that well, but at the end of the day, it works out more than fine because the projects that do or have, at least for me, paid out in ways that I couldn't have imagined, quicker than I could have imagined. And so, the profits are still there because of it.
Yeah. And like, I totally agree with that sentiment. I own things in my OpenSea account that I just think are just fucking cool. And that's really as simple as that. It supports the creators. It's interesting art. Like, again, if I had a digital frame on my wall, would I want this to be showcased? Yes. Great. If it appreciates in value as any art could, awesome. I'll be stoked. If it doesn't, I'm still happy to hold that and have that a part of my collection. And, I think looking at both of our backgrounds for anyone watching, I got posters, sneakers, basketballs, cause figurines. You have an insane everything. Yeah. You got a bunch of stuff, right? Like, we are collectors. We like artwork. I love posters. I just everything. Anytime I've been to a concert, I bought a poster or a t-shirt. Like that's my mindset. And I think back to all my concert tees. It's like, man, I would love to have an NFT from, Kanye's Jesus tour, or when I saw Watch the Throne in Paris. Not that collectible is super intriguing to me. And instead I have a shirt that's like washed out. I can't even wear it. It's like super stretched out. I'm never going to get to show it to anyone. And I think that's the thing with NFTs and digital, anything collectibles, you can show everyone. Like you can literally go to my OpenSea account and just see like, who am I as a collector? What do I like? What am I passionate about? And to me, it's just another way for people to express themselves digitally. To your comparison of, was it World of Warcraft, right? Yeah. Where do you get to showcase that? I remember putting in a couple $100 into NBA 2K21 for my team and going, well, this is kind of a waste of money. No one's going to see any of this. Not that it should matter, but as a collector, you like to show off your stuff. And at the same time, it's just a whole other season's coming where it's going to be worthless and go in the garbage. But I like to curate. And I think that's the advice I'd give to someone is like, come into this, do your own research. I know, you said NFTs you felt like it was a scam right at the beginning. There's definitely people out there trying to scam the shit out of people who think they can get rich. So definitely do some research and make sure you follow the right people.
No, I definitely agree. Another thing I would say too is you were talking about how it supports the creator. I think the whole NFT thing, it changes everything, and the royalties are built in.
Yes,
so whereas you might resell a sneaker and that's it, it's out of your collection. Now, if you have a creation that you put out there, each time that it passes hands, whether it's for profit for that seller or losses, you'll see a portion of that, and that continues for life. These lifetime royalties really change everything for the creator. And I just see NFTs be integrated across the board. The term that is Web3. So Web 1.0 was emails and websites. 2.0 is your social media account, and your Web3 might show your wallet right off the bat wherever it might be plugged into whatever you're using, whether it be eBay or a marketplace or social media or whatever. I think it's going to be more ingrained than people know, and I think marketing dollars are going to go into it. So you might go see Avengers 8 and you might have the rare NFT and it's right there on your social media profile the second that you receive it and stuff like this.
Yeah.
And so it's really going to get integrated really quickly, I think.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think it's going to be a form of validating life experiences and things that you do. I made the concert ticket analogy, but any sporting events, I mean, anything you do in life, you need to be there to collect NFT. It's free, but now it's your badge of being there. I think I do want to follow up on what you said about, creators being paid for that. I think it's awesome that someone could create a great art project, a great PFP project, whatever it might be, and be rewarded for that in forever, for life, right? If you create something for $100 and someone sells it for $200, you deserve a royalty. Like that is your original creation. And I think that's one of the best things coming out of this is those artists, those creators can get paid for their work forever, as no matter what the price tag is. And which is an interesting thing. It lends to Nike. And I want to pose this question to you before we get into some other brands. For people who never bought an NFT, gas wars, give the people a little explanation of like, when you go to buy an NFT, what the hell is gas and why is there a war?
Yeah. So the Ethereum network is, it works on the blockchain. And so there's pros and cons to this, right? So Ethereum process about, I think it's 15 to 20 transactions per second. And so there's thousands and thousands of people using Ethereum. And so the way it works is you pay gas just for your transaction to go through the network, right? So this does not mean
transaction fee.
Transaction fee. This does not even mean you're going to secure your item. You can be paying the gas for a one-on-one item and it could sell out and you pay the gas. And so the thing is, with so many people competing for different items, people can actually pay more for the gas. If they choose to, then their transaction goes through faster. And so that's basically what a gas war is. You're competing with people who are willing to pay probably more than you on gas. And therefore, in a lot of cases on these hype projects, people are losing out. I know that they're switching at some point to proof of stake instead. And so this should change up that whole dynamic. Mm-hmm. I don't know exactly in which way. I'm not too familiar, but the sooner it comes, the better. Because, there's sites that have tracked my gas spending and man, it's pretty crazy to say the least. So, as of right now, it's just money that's kind of just gone in order to get the collectible you want. So it is what it is.
Yeah, I've been in a situation where the collectibles, like let's just say 0.1 for easy math. And next thing I know, I'm paying 0.3 or 0.4 to get it to go through.
Yeah.
Because there's so much demand and people are willing to pay for more gas to get to the front of the line.
Yeah.
So I mentioned this to you because I want to make the sneaker comparison to this. Obviously, shoes resell for a ton of money. People all want the Travis Scotts, but there's only, again, we don't know, let's say 10,000 Travis Scott Jordan 1 release, right? We all want it. Could you imagine, and tell me what you think, could you imagine if Nike went, okay, we're going to institute a gas-based system where you can pay to get to the front of the line for your sneakers? Do you think that would just ruin everything or solve some of the resale problems where, like, if you want to pay $1,500 for it, pay it up front?
I definitely think it would make things worse. You know, it's funny that you even pose this question. I get so many people calling me up, asking me questions about NFTs in general, and sometimes it's shop owners. And they think they've got this great idea of doing sneaker raffles this way. And I kind of explained to them, I was like, you won't see any of this money, but your customers will be paying gas for maybe getting a raffle ticket and then lose out on whatever it is, $20, $40, $100. And all the while, someone can just keep paying 200, and their transaction goes through instantly. And they're the only person who gets rewarded all of these raffle tickets. So I don't think the way it stands, Ethereum blockchain is, what people are looking for sneakers at this point in time. What
if they instituted one per account, one per wallet? Let's forget. Yeah. I think the difference between one sneakers account and one OpenSea account is like identity verification. There's layers that happens to that. You have to do know your customer. But it's just an interesting idea. Like if you knew only one person could get it out of the 10,000, and they were willing to pay $1,500 for it. Let's say Nike takes that money. Nike takes the whole $1,500. Do you think the resale prices end up at 3,000, 4,000, 5,000, or does that cool off the market? I don't know. I have the answer, but I'm just curious what your thoughts are.
That makes the resale higher. People are then paying more just as the base entry fee to get in. So you have to raise up the price at that point. But we'll see exactly how it works. I know that these sneaker companies, they're saying that, what was it? OpenSeas did like 8 million 2 years ago, then 24 million last year, and then like 4 billion this year, 3 billion of which was like in the past few months or whatever. There's just too much money being thrown around for these sneaker brands not to, figure out. They love storytelling and everything like this, and I think the blockchain and the internet is a great avenue to do so. So it's just a matter of time to see whatever iteration it is of something like this happening.
Yeah. We won't get into it too much, but I do think social tokens could be part of the solution for brands in how to distribute product based off like customer loyalty, how much have you bought? And then if you have X amount of tokens, you can use that to buy your shoes or get a better chance at it. But let's not give the brands free solutions to their problems on this podcast. But speaking of brands, we're seeing more and more people pop into it. Tom Sachs did a really cool project. I'm assuming you saw that with the rocket ship and all that stuff. I was lucky to mint it, and then I was like, holy shit, I can't afford to finish this rocket, and I bowed out. I wanted to, but I just couldn't because it skyrocketed from there. Yeah. But the hundreds is one that recently really comes to mind. Great brand history. A lot of people who are fans. I bought one of the hundreds project. I think they minted it to 2,500 for the Bomb Squad. Yeah, 25,000. Yeah, 25,000 for the Bomb Squad. I think that was a really interesting kind of case of how to take a brand from the physical world and bring it to the digital world, and allow people an opportunity to collect some of the art around it.
Yeah, no, I think it was awesome. And all throughout this year, they've really been showcasing what's been going on with NFTs. Early on, they had the CryptoPunks collab, 50 hats, sold out minutes before it released. Somehow it sold out really quick. Then they most recently did the Bored Apes collab, which was awesome. They had the rug, the clothing and stuff. So, they're always very much, ahead of the curve with this type of stuff. And I think the project is amazing. There's so many awesome little hidden gems that they have in there, and the fact that still they haven't released the metadata, so it's people trading based on what they like and not what the stats tell them are rare. I think that's a really cool element. And people still kind of figure it out, and you can kind of tell. Usually, the art is varying degrees different. Yeah. If it's unique or special. So. But it's definitely been awesome. I minted 10 at release, and I got what happened to be one of the rare pineapples, and I sold it right off the bat for 4.2069 ETH.
Oh, man.
So I just put up a meme price. I listed it. I was like, it just revealed. I was like, let me list it before I go eat. And I sit down at the restaurant, and it got the notification it sold like 2 minutes later. So.
Wow. Yeah, but again, that comes to it. Like, I don't think that sells just because some bombs got minted. Like, there's a rich history behind that, and someone who loves the brand and loves that story wanted to own that, right? Yeah. And I think that that says a lot. So it's again, back to people who want to jump to NFTs for the first time. Don't just jump into anything. Like, really do your research, get to know the projects, read up on the people, and we'll talk a little bit. Actually, we'll talk a little bit about what's kind of brewing right now, what's interesting. But do you think what brand could you see jumping into NFTs next from sneakers or streetwear? Does anyone come to mind for you?
The thing that makes the most sense, and I'm so excited for it, is Nike. I'm gonna be honest, it's all I can think about. Like with brands like Artifact killing it, with the metaverse sneakers, you get the digital asset and then you get the physical sneaker mailed in. I just think it's the future, and I don't think anyone will be able to execute it as well as Nike will, just because of the obviously the dollars they have to put into a project like that. So it'll be cool to see other brands do it, and it'll be cool to see the evolution. It's kind of like seeing websites, their original website, they look so janky and so messed up in the 90s and stuff, and to see that improvement over the years, that's how we're going to see NFTs kind of roll out as people try new things, test new things out. And so it's just the beginning. And so it'll be exciting to see.
No, I agree. I think a lot of people don't get it, understandably. It can be hard to wrap your heads around it, but this is definitely like early, not even early, like late 1999, 2000 internet type stuff, early social media. Like, there's a lot of opportunity, and we're just getting to the forefront of that, because I think the key word to all of this is utility. Like, outside of the digital good, like what do I get out of this? We see different people promise different things, but I think that exploring that is going to be cool. And like, the best example I can give is NBA Top Shot, right? They did across the playoffs. If you owned any Suns moments, you would get an entry into a contest. And the more moments you own, the more entries you got. And that contest got you to go to Game 5. Awesome. And a sweet experience, flight trip and everything. Like, that's a cool experience for someone who's a collector of that team. I think we're going to see that from a lot of projects going forward. So
definitely utility through ownership. It's basically like a digital key at that point, and owning unlocks whatever it is the feature of that creator wants to create. Like you said, in this case, it's giveaways and stuff like this. It could be membership clubs, discounts on clothing, whatever it is that that creator deems they want to grant access for the users with. And so it's just to see that integration, I think, is going to be very cool.
Yeah, and you mentioned you started your own project, Sneaker Punks. How did that start? What's it about? I would love to know. I honestly, I'm not familiar with it, so I'm very curious to see what I might be buying.
No problem. I started it. Basically, I got on OpenSeas early April, a month after getting on Savy, and right away I found a project. I don't remember exactly how I found it, but coming from that World of Warcraft background, it was called Elven Punks. And at the time, I was like, I'm definitely not getting a crypto punk, but these Elven Punks are like 0.03 or something like that. Let me check this out. And so I picked one up, and instantly, like, the owner tweeted back at me, and this is the community aspect, saying thank you, and had a little storyline for the elf that she was like tweeting and stuff like this. I was like, all right, there's something unique here. There's something kind of cool here. And over the next few days, I was talking with the artist, and I was like, you really inspired me, and I want to start creating. Like, what tools did you use? And everyone in the community is super nice, super giving of information like this. And so that weekend I sat down. I don't consider myself an artist at all, so I'm not like technical with any of the stuff. And I watched some videos, kind of how to do it, and pulled out a couple sneakers as kind of like a reference point, and started creating little 8-bit sneakers. And so at the time, they're all hand done, and like I said, I felt like my art isn't up to snuff like other artists and stuff. So what I did was kind of animate it so that they were digital moving pictures. That way, it would still have a little bit of flash, still have that little extra creativity to it. And so the first 130 are done this way. And then I partnered up with a friend, and he helped build a random generator. So now I've selected the colors and the rarities and all this, and so now randomly generate it. But in doing so, the original 130 are the ones that are animated, and the newer series are the flat still images with different rarities, different styles. I've introduced different models. I'm working on plugging in a few different like patterns. I think I'll be adding to it, like stripes and stuff like this. So adding more rarity to it as the projects unfold.
Yeah, I just love that story, because it's like, had an idea, wanted to do this, Googled some shit, watched some stuff, asked for some help, and then launched a project. And that's awesome, right? I think that again lends itself to other creators who, graphic designers, 3D artists, musicians even. I bought an album through an NFT and minted it that way. I just think it lends for a lot of opportunity for just the internet to get a lot more fun, a lot more creative, and do things in an innovative way. And I think we're overdue for that.
Yeah, no, I agree. It's a great time to be a creative. People, that's what it is, putting out your art or your blog or your video or your music or whatever. And now there's just, no man, you are the one getting compensated for your creation and stuff. So it's awesome. It's an awesome space.
So to wrap up here a little bit, let's talk about some of our favorite projects that are coming up. Let's not promo, but let's talk about like kind of what's been minted, what's available. Something definitely under a half an ether. What would you say is your favorite out there right now?
Yeah, so there's 2 projects that I've recently been getting a lot of as of late. So when I first started creating sneaker punks around that time, there's a project on OpenSeas. I was actually uploading videos at that time, a project called Bones Club. And so it was like really like kind of gritty looking, different skeletons, different like whatever pimp suits, and just random stuff and stuff. And I thought it was really cool. And so I had a good amount of them, and they kind of went quiet for a while, and it's because they were now working on this new iteration on the website where you can mint it. So those are still up for mint and launched maybe a week ago now, 0.05, and I've minted a bunch of those, and I think they're really cool. Another project I've been diving into a lot recently, I found it, and I kind of had, for me personally, I kind of had this like aha moment. I was like, okay, the art here is something special. Non-fungible heroes. So There's these villains and there's these heroes. The villains are these like cows and bulls, and like the heroes are these monkeys, and they're in different notable costumes, whether it's Joker's costume or Zero's costume, and all these different characters. It's really fun art and stuff like this. And so I started posting those on my Instagram. At the time, they're going for under mint. This was just a few days ago, and now the cheapest ones you can find are like 0.14, and some of the rare ones are like 0.4 and stuff that were just like 0.08 a few days ago. So
yeah, I think that happens with a lot of just interesting art projects, and it levels out. And again, this will be that. I think a lot of people ask, what's the roadmap? What are they building? I think for me, my favorite project right now is Animatus. Have you seen those?
I have. I don't own any, but growing up in the 90s and stuff, playing like Mega Man and games like this, the theme of it, if it's a project I think of, really reminds me of those games back in the day. And I like the art style and everything like this, but no, I don't have any.
Yeah, I just think it's cool because the artist, he's a pixel artist, and I mean these are all like super unique. Took a ton of time. Yeah, big fan of those. Those are a little bit more on the expensive side right now. Mm-hmm. I think the floor is 0.4.
Yeah.
But if I'm going to make a cheaper recommendation right now, I would say, have you seen the NFT Theos, the teddy bears?
Yeah, I actually a few months ago I was picking them up for like, I don't know, it was like they had just released. I saw someone on Twitter like sharing them like 0.01 or something like this, or something ridiculous. And then I grabbed a couple and then listed it for like 0.2, and they sold instantly. Like, wait, maybe I should not have sold them. But yeah, I've seen those.
Yeah, I like those as well. And then to the not fungible bones, I thought was an interesting one. I think it showed up a couple days ago, maybe yesterday. Time flies in the NFT world, like you said. But they were free to mint plus gas.
Yeah.
And it's just such a cool project. And I think again that all just goes into just do a little research, look into who's created them, what's their story, why are they doing it. Do not just buy something because someone's like, this is going to go to the moon. We're going to promise all these crazy things. All this shit's coming. You really got to do your research. There's a new project. I should say there's 10 new projects every day.
Yeah, there's a lot of things to look out for. I did mint one of those as well. I personally didn't have like the conviction in it. Like I didn't also do the research in it, to be honest. So I minted it, sold it for one, got a little quick profit on it, and just kind of moved to the next thing. I think it ended up going higher than that that day, like 0.2 or something like this. But yeah, there are some good indicators to kind of look at. If you're looking on OpenSeas, look at the activity. If there's a lot of volume coming in at that moment, that's usually a good indicator. For me personally, there's a bunch of collectors and stuff I follow on Twitter. Who's collecting it? Why? How many are they grabbing? Like, there's just a lot of different indicators. The Discord, how active are members on the Discord and stuff. So there's a bunch of different ways you can kind of somewhat try to calculate what's going on here with the project. And I definitely recommend doing so if you're putting your money into something.
Yep. And again, not investment advice. Don't just throw money into this blindly. Do it for the reason that you like the artwork. Again, like you said, if I buy this thing and no one wants it, am I still going to be happy looking at it in my collection? If yes, then proceed to do more research from there. But definitely don't go into it just thinking you're going to make some money, because I guarantee you will lose money if that's your primary focus. Nothing
goes up forever. These things have many cycles to them. Could be up for 1 week and down for 3 weeks, and then back up again. Or if it's not a good project, then it might not ever come back up. So just be cautious what you're getting into, and
yeah, don't fall for the FOMO. At the end of the day, do not fall for the FOMO.
Yeah, I've definitely sold off some stuff right as it's peaking, and then I see those same people sell it off the next day for half the value or something like that. And I'm just like, man. Yeah. It's crazy out there. So.
Yeah, I would be super curious to see what the sneaker industry looks like with more visibility and transparency into the buying, the selling, the trading, the production. Super curious. We're going to see what the brands are working on. I know Nike's got a patent for crypto sneakers or blockchain sneakers. They have something in the works. I think they got it in 2017, 2018. I would
love to see the Bored Ape Jordan Club or something like this. And I don't think it's too far-fetched. Like stuff like that would be under wraps. And, at the end of the day, Bored Apes is becoming supreme is in the right term, like a Lexus or a Mercedes brand. And, it's only been 4 or 5 months. And so I really think we'll see these brands jump again. The hundreds is the first one, but there's going to be more.
No, and we're going to jump in soon, but we're doing it thoughtfully. We're doing social tokens for members. We have a couple sneakers that we're making in production. One with the community, one is top secret. But we're gonna sell it through an NFT first and make that connection, right? So we can track it. You can buy. It'll be fun. You get to collect the digital version of it, and you get the physical sneaker delivered to you as well. And I think it'll be a nice entry point for our members to, just get a little familiar with what the future of the internet might look like, because I know it's scary out there. But yeah, I will leave it at that. Where can the people find you on the internet?
So you can find me on Twitter at Franalations23, on Instagram, Franalations, and on Instagram also Sneaker Punks. I drop Sneaker Punks every weekday at 6 p.m. With random drops sometimes on the weekend or late at night here and there, just so there's people in different time zones, so that time might not work for them. So I'll drop 1 or 2 at random every now and then as well.
Nice. Cool. I'm going to have to keep an eye out. Awesome. I appreciate you taking the time to jump on and kind of talking about NFTs, collecting sneakers, all that fun stuff. Anyone listening, there's a lot going on out there. So take your time. Don't rush into anything. Again, if you take a week or two to get familiar with the space, learn, research, follow the right people, there's always going to be something coming. So be patient and don't jump in. Again, not investment advice. Just trying to guide people in the way. Thanks for hopping on and talking to us about all this.
Yeah, anytime.